Hello, fifth grade. This is Miss McGuire, and today we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over fossil fuels today, which I'm very excited about. So today we're going to go over fossil fuels. I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself, and we're going to talk about different kinds of fossil fuels. So I want you to take a look at this picture. This is coal. So we have coal, natural gas, and oil. What do they all have in common? Good. I hope you said that they are all fossil fuels. Coal, natural gas, and oil are all fossil fuels. On these fossil fuels, what else do they have in common? Good. I hope you said that they're non-renewable. All of these materials are non-renewable. Coal is non-renewable. Natural gas is non-renewable. And oil is all non-renewable. That means it takes millions and millions of years before they can be renewed again, or before they can make more coal, gas, or oil. So not in our lifetime can you find more gas, coal, or oil. Today, we're going to look at the formation of fossil fuels. So let's go back a little bit because we didn't talk about this is what we're doing today. I can explore the processes that lead to the formation of fossil fuel. What processes occur in the formation of fossil fuels? How do models help us communicate our understanding of force and processes the Earth's surface? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep going. Today, we're going to take a look first at how coal is, how they form coal. So what happens with coal is it first starts out kind of in a swampy area, and it takes usually about 300 million years before we get coal. That's a long time. So before the dinosaurs, many giant plants died in swamps. So all these plants, they're called organic matter. And then over 100 million years, the plants were buried under this water and under the dirt, and it started getting heat and pressure and pushing down on the heat and all on that dirt, dead plants and that dirt. Then the heat and pressure turned those dead plants into coal. So that's what happened right here. Is there's that dirt, the dirt and the rocks, and then they put a lot of heat and pressure down, and it turned it into coal, those dead plants. So let's go ahead and make our coal. So I need you guys to get your plastic bag out. The one I'd like you guys to get out today is called fossil fuel number 2. Please get all of those materials out because we're going to use all of them today. And what I want you guys to do is you guys should have your little dirt and you should have some sand, some soil, and some gravel from last time. And today we're going to make our first model. Our first model is the formation of coal. So first I need you to get just a plastic container. If some of them already have dirt and soil in them, if you would take them and just pour it out, please. Pour it out on something else for just a minute. Pour it on a small cup you can, or a plate, a paper plate. If you pour that out, that would make it easier. Should be empty right now. So the first thing that with the formation of coal is first you have a small organic dead plant, right? So we have a little plastic plant. Please get it out. Put it at the bottom. That's our dead swamp plant. And this is also called organic matter. Anything that's dead plants or animals is called organic matter. And then what you're going to do is after that happens, it hardens. It takes heat and pressure, and all this dirt is coming on top of it. The dirt, the sandstone and shell are on top of it, and it's pushing it down. And that's going to help form coal. So you guys should have some coal in there. It is labeled coal. And then I'm going to use my coal right here. I'm just using a little bit of coal. Should just look like this. Your bag should look like that. And I'm going to go ahead and dump that on here. This is a solid material. So then you have your dead plant, and then you have your coal. And now what we need to do is we need to put sandstone on it. Hello. We're going to put sandstone on top, which we're going to use sand for our sandstone today. So you can just take a spoonful also of your sand, and then you're going to put it on into your container. And so this is how they form coal over time. There's that dirt, that sandstone. And then you can also, and then the last layer is going to be slate. Or I'm sorry, shell. I said slate, but I meant shell. And this is it's gonna look like this. And you're gonna just put a little bit on top. Now what happens over time is heat and pressure push down on here. So just gonna push down. So if you would press down on here, that's how they form. This is all the formation of coal. And eventually, when all of this gets formed, and after millions and millions of years, it'll turn into this. That's coal. And that's what coal looks like. And we use this, we burn it generally in order to produce energy for us. Like usually think of old steamboats and steam engines, and they used to burn coal all the time in order to create energy. So you can put your lid on that. That's our coal. Okay, now get out you should have your foldable next to you. So make sure you get that out. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you. This is what should be written on your foldable. This says the formation of coal. Formation of coal. And you're going to draw the same thing that we just did. So it's formed once by living plants, which is organic matter. You can pause the video if you would like to copy this down. Please pause the video if you need to. Okay, now I'm going to open it up. And then it says millions of years of heat and pressure pushing down in order to form the coal. So on the bottom, again, we had that swamp plants. We had the dead swamp plants on the bottom. That's our organic matter. Then you have your coal. That's what turns into then it turns into a coal layer, which is our solid. So all of these plants turn into this right here, this coal, which is a solid. So it's really hard. It's like that rocks I just showed you. And then on top of that, the coal, you see sand, sandstone, and shell. I'm sorry, why do I keep saying shell? Shell. I meant shell, excuse me. And then what happens is the heat and the pressure keep coming down on that for millions and millions of years. If you want to take a minute and pause the video so you could have this put this in your foldable, please do. Okay, so that's how you form coal. It's made from organic matter. It is caused generally from dead swamp plants and animals. And it's a hard solid. Once it's done, it's a hard solid, right? Coal is like a rock. And we use it for energy, to burn energy. And remember, it's non-renewable. It takes a long time to make coal. Okay, let's talk about this last fossil fuel. So one fossil fuel is the coal. The second fossil fuel that we're going to talk about is oil and natural gas. So oil and natural gas is a little bit different. what happens is that the ocean animals take 300 to 400 million years ago. What happened is these tiny sea plants and animals died and were buried on the ocean floor. Then, over time, the plants and animal remains kept getting heat and pressure. And then that they became buried deeper and deeper into the ocean. Then today, what happens is we have to go out into the ocean and we have to drill in to get oil and gas deposits. Usually, we have to drill down layers of sand, sleet, and rock in order to get the oil and gas. Okay, now I need you guys to get another one of those plastic containers. Make sure it's empty on this one. And then we're going to build oil and natural gas. So the first thing that happens is you have to think about those ocean animals. Usually we call them plankton. So today I'm going to use sprinkles. You guys should have sprinkles in your small container. You should have a little bit of sprinkles. They should be green. That's what we're going to use for our plants and animals, our ocean plants and animals. The other coal was more was swamp, right? And then this is more ocean. So think about the ocean. Okay, so on the bottom I have my sprinkles, which are going to represent all of my dead plants and animals, which is plankton or algae or ocean animals. And then you have a small liquid. And usually that liquid is formed from, that's usually where you'll see that natural gas or that oil is going to be a little bit of a liquid. So remember with your water, you should have a little bit of water. Get a little bit of water, and you can pour a little bit of water in there. That's just going to represent, that's where that natural gas, that's where that natural gas in that oil is formed right there. Now we're going to put some conglomerate. Remember that word from last week with our sedimentary rock? That's conglomerate. Now we're going to make some conglomerate, and we're going to put it in our formation of oil and natural gas. So please get this bag out. It says fossil number 3. I need you to get this out. This is called plaster of Paris. You just need a little bit, itty bit amount of water. You don't need a lot for this. So I'm going to use that same water that I just used to show that natural gas and that oil. So I'm going to use a little bit of this, but I'm going to put a spoonful of my plaster de Paris. Just a little small spoonful, just a little spoonful. I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm just going to stir it around just to have a little bit in here. It should look about that. It's going to be wet, and it's going to take a little while. Now, I also need you guys to put a little bit of that gravel in. So you should still have a spoonful of the gravel. Please put it in there. This is how we make our conglomerates. Here's our Paris, plaster de Paris, and our little bit of rocks. So let me see if you can see it a little bit better. Actually, it might not work. Let me hold it up. So that's what it should kind of look like. It should be wet. And you don't use all of your plaster of Paris, but you can use quite a bit of it. And you don't need very much water. I probably have a little itty bit too much water. With yours, don't do a lot of water. This is going to take about 30 minutes to dry. So we just made conglomerate. And conglomerate is what's going to go over that oil, because it takes, remember, they have to dig through that rock in order to get that natural oil. And I'm just going to pour it into my container. So please pour yours into your container. It's going to take about 30 to 45 minutes to dry. And that's what it's going to look like. So there's my algae on the bottom, my conglomerate. Now the last thing I need is a little bit of shell. So that's your soil right here. Just put a little bit of that soil on top, and then that is how you form the formation of oil and natural gas, which are liquids. See how you see it's a liquid? And our last one wasn't a liquid. Our last one wasn't a liquid. Did you see that? This is a solid. This one's a liquid. Okay, so put your lid on there, let it dry, give it a few minutes. You'll be able to see it all come together. So now we have our model of our natural gas and um, our oil. So now what I want you guys to do is get your foldable out again. And we're going to talk about this is our last box we have to do. This is the formation of oil in natural gas. I put the word that they're BFFs because they're both liquids and they're both found around the same area. And they're both used to prefer energy, like coal, right? All these fossil fuels we use for energy. And they're all non-renewable. Okay, again, they're all made out of organic matter and animals, that plankton. So think about that plankton, those ocean animals. So it's made out of both animals and plants. Okay, please pause your video and please write this down. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it over. Here's the model that we just made. So on the bottom here, we have plankton, algae, and I drew a little bit of our plankton, our algae. And then we have the oil and the natural gas. Remember, that was a liquid. And then from there, we have our conglomerate on top. That's that rock they have to dig into. Conglomerate. And then we had the soil on top, which is that shell. And this takes millions of years for heat and pressure to create oil and natural gas. That's why it's non-renewable, because it takes millions and millions of years for this to happen. Okay, please pause your video. If you have not written it down, please do. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We have CON, C-O-N, coal, oil, and natural gas. CON. All of those things are fossil fuels and non-renewable. Okay, make sure that you guys have all of that written down. Now, think about all the things that we learned, and you can go back to your foldable if you need to. And I want you to think about sedimentary rock and fossil fuels. How are they the same? How are they both the same? And how are they different? Just take one moment to reflect. How are they the same and how are they different? Excellent. If you said that they're all the same because they all are natural resources, right? They all come from nature. They're all natural resources. Another thing that you might say that they're the same is that they use conglomerate. They're all in the earth. So you could say that they all are, they have to dig to get to them in the earth. So they all use shell, they use sandstone, they're made out of conglomerate, and they all have heat and pressure that pushes down on them. So both of them have heat and pressure that push down on them, and they take millions of years for that to form. Another thing, how are they different though? Good. I hope you said sedimentary rock. You have to have weathering, erosion, and deposition to form it. And it's all made out of sediments. All of it's made out of sediments. Hopefully you put that down. All of that's made out of sediments. Good. And remember what we talked about? We talked about how it's compacted, and then it is sedimentation, right? Sedimentation glues it together. Compaction will press it down, push it down. Good. And then, so how is fossil fuels different? You could have said that there's coal, and there's oil and natural gas. They're all made out of organic matter. So organic matter, which is plants and animals. You should have wrote that down, plants and animals. They're both non-renewable. Let's see, what else could we say that how else are they the same? How else are they different? That's the big thing. The big thing is that this is made out of sedimentary rock and this is made out of organic matter. That's the big difference between fossil fuels and sedimentary rock. Thank you guys. I hope you guys hopefully you guys finish up your projects. If you need to go back and watch this video, please do. If you need any materials, please email Ms. McGuire at jeannie.mcguire@nisd.net. I will definitely give you materials if you need it. I do have extras, so please feel free to reach out to me. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much for joining our video today, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, friends.